Hey horror fans, thanks for joining me for this review of Malignant. Alright, cast and crew information down below. And let's get this IMDb plot going here. Madison is paralyzed by shocking visions of grisly murders, and her torment worsens as she discovers that these waking dreams are in fact terrifying realities. Alright, I don't know if that really said anything, but here we go. Um, say a couple of things off the top. One, it is amazing to see how this film has divided the horror community. As someone who is on promote horror and preaches horror community, I hate when movies come out like this and divide people. I mean, it is fine to disagree, but apparently, um, some people have gone to war over this movie. And I hate when I see that. Like I said, it's fine to agree to disagree. Express your opinion. You like a movie, you dislike a movie, and let's still be friends. And we're part of the horror community. Move on. Not turn that into I hate you now. I'm gonna unfollow you, and I'm going to trash you to everybody else here. Um, Unfortunately, apparently that's happened a little bit. So I hate that aspect of it. But it is good to have a movie come out that's so, I guess, controversial or have be so divided and has people talking and they like it, they don't like it, and so forth. Um, so I guess here's my turn at it. Um, I will say that, again, this is obviously a newer movie. I will try to be as spoiler free as possible, but there is one or two points I want to make, and that might lead into non-spoiler territory. So I'm just gonna put it out there, and you've been warned. I might spoil a little bit of this movie because there's a point or two I want to make along the line. Um, but I guess here we go. This is James Wan, and I guess expectations are high, and I guess that's another reason that so many people are talking about it and so divided and so forth. A lot of people are trying to compare this movie, to some of his other films and kind of rank it and whatever. I'm not going to rank or whatever. I will just kind of put it out there before I even get to the ranking. I don't think this is his best film, and in certain aspects, I was a little disappointed. I thought, that um, maybe this would be a little bit better than what it turned out to be. It's a little bit fast forward, um, but um, to kind of clue you in on what's going on here, um, you have a opening scene in where there's I guess at like a psychiatric hospital, something like that. Um, there's a special patient. Let's just call it a special patient, and they're causing a little bit of havoc, and it's a little bit of a crazy scene, and you're not really sure what's going on, but they leave you with a little mystery and intrigue to um, what is happening here, and you're not sure, what the full story is with this patient. Um, Come out of that, fast forward, the story is going to follow Madison here, and she's obviously dealing with some issues and plagued by something, and she's in a house, and she starts seeing things, and weird stuff starts happening. You kind of think that this was where um, James Wan would shine, and he does in certain aspects. Um, but then there are other aspects of this film that I don't know, it's just a little bit flashy in the way they changed the scenes, and I thought he tried to get too cute a little bit with some of the transitions from the scenes and so forth. Um, I don't know. Anyway, the you know early in the film, you kind of think of it as she's being haunted by something. It's almost a ghostly presence, And I think they do, again, this is where he kind of shines. They do some good with it early on, trying to present some scares, some creepy situations. Obviously, you're not really sure what the hell is going on, or what this ghost figure is, or like I said, this entity or whatever that's got to start killing people, and uh, does so in some crazy ways here, um, but let's see. I'm just, like I said, I'm trying to be as spoiler free as possible, but there are some points I want to make, so that's why I'm just kind of hesitating here. Um, the best way to say it. So, as the film goes on, you're going to learn a little bit more and more about what it is exactly that's haunting her. And she kind of has a past, and she's been adopted and not really sure, um, you know, much about her real parents and so forth. So it's kind of like one of those movies where, the mystery of your family or your true past, has to be unraveled. She has I forgot whether she was a so-called sister or a very good friend here, that tries to help her out. I think it was her sister. Sorry, I see lots of movies. I get things confused sometimes. Um, but so that's going to play a part of it. Digging up her past to try to figure out what the hell is going on. Obviously, there's going to be a little bit of a police investigation as well, because there are murders being made, and obviously the more the murders are getting made, the more it seems like it's her that's committing these murders. So again, we're getting one of these movies. So you get a movie with a little bit of family history that needs to be undiscovered. You need to, a little bit of a police investigation going on. So we have these kind of elements coming into the story as well. But to me, it all comes down to this thing. Let's just call it a thing for now. And I guess what I'll say is that I liked what they did there. I don't think, it seemed like an original idea, but I have a feeling I've kind of, that horror fans have seen something like this, as far as where it comes from. And again, I'm trying to be spoiler free. As far as how it's formed and where it comes from, I think we've kind of seen this in ways before. But this is just, it becomes a tad bizarre, a tad creepy and disgusting, when you finally see what is happening here. I can enjoy it, I can appreciate that. As a horror fan, that's kind of what you want to see. But then let's talk about this thing. You're gonna see, and I guess you're gonna see it kind of do some movements early on that you're kind of like, ooh, it's creepy, and kind of this makes it. But then when you kind of find out more about it and know what it is and where it comes from, then when it continues these movements and so forth, it kind of takes away a little bit. At least for me, it did. And there's a scene, and you're going to see it. One of the police officers has a run-in with it. He stumbles onto it and finds it in the middle of one of the murders, and basically a chase ensues. And you're going to see it kind of jump around, and like I said at the beginning, you kind of see it as a maybe a haunting and a figure like that. But then later you find out that maybe it's not so much. Maybe it has more of a human element to it. But in fact it does, but then it still does like all these things, like jumping around and flipping and being able to dodge things and so forth. And when I think about it, a horror movie and so forth, we obviously you'd like to think that most horror movies, everything is fake and whatever. Some people believe in the supernatural, and that's fine, and demons and so forth, that's fine. But for the most part, everything's fake, and you take things with a grain of salt, and you let a film have some liberties. And So with the creation of this thing and whatever, blah blah, you have some liberties, you let it be, okay, it happened, that's all fine. But then, like this chase scene kind of starts it, and then later there's a big scene in the police station. And for those who have seen it, you know what I'm talking about. Um, you see a big scene there, and I know they kind of play it off as this thing is able to kind of change the environment and distort things and almost bring things into its own reality, which I also, like I said, talking about giving it liberties and whatever, I think that's just an excuse to let it do this. And I think if it was truly what it is and what they give you here, I don't see why it's able to do that and kind of transform, the atmosphere around or the setting and so forth. Um, I didn't like that it just became like this kung fu master, or like I said, it does a lot of flipping and so forth. And we have the Matrix coming out soon, and like kind of reminded me of that, and I was just kind of thinking, the Matrix is coming soon, and you have this thing, and it's kind of flipping and twisting and ducking and jumping from the building down and doing all these things. And I'm like, well, what? Like when you see what it is and where it comes from, and then like, and so I can't say the full thing, but to me they just go too far with it. Like why can it do all this stuff? How can it do all this stuff? Um, and it's just when you kind of think it's a haunting at the beginning, it's kind of cool, but then once you find out what it is, and then you're like, why is it able to do this? What is it doing? And it's just doing a lot of it. I didn't like it. I thought they pushed past the boundaries there of okay, we're giving you this thing, you're like, okay, you're accepting of it, but then they're just doing too much with it and just going way past what they should do. And I don't understand why it's doing cartwheels and ducking and dodging bullets and all kinds of stuff like that. um, I just didn't like that. It kind of ruined everything they had built up to, and so forth. And it was just I don't know. Um, I don't know if anybody felt the same way, what they felt about this thing, and so forth. I mentioned the Twitter conversation or whatever before. I really didn't dive into it since I didn't see the movie. I didn't want to get spoiled. I didn't want to get turned in one direction or the other. So I don't know what people's main issues were, but that was a big issue for me. I didn't mind the I liked what they did early on with it. I didn't mind the unfolding of the story and what it actually came to be. But once they kind of unveil it and whatever, I just didn't understand why it had to be like such like a ninja warrior here and so forth. It just, that part just didn't make sense to me, and kind of ruined everything they built. It's kind of like another controversial movie, High Tension. Loved the freaking movie, loved everything that built up to it. Then it got, of course, then revealed the twist and kind of went off a cliff because the twist just didn't make any sense. And not that this had a twist, but I was okay with it. I wasn't loving it, but I was okay with it. I was fine with it, and then it just became too much of this freaking ninja warrior, whatever, flipping around thing, and that kind of just made it crash and burn for me. And it's a long movie. Now let me see. Yeah, it was almost 2 hours. So, um, again, I think they probably could have cut some of that away. Like I said, they do extend it out because they do have this mystery going on, and try to give you layer upon layer of her past to kind of unveil it. So is it, that's not totally new or unique in itself either. Um, but, they try. Like I said, it has some good moments. It has some good things. I liked it. This thing, with some of the kills it did early on. You know, and even some of the kills while some of the action was going on were all right. Um, but again, I just thought I didn't need to see it become a ninja star here and start killing everybody in that fashion. That was just kind of takes away from some of the stuff it did earlier on. And so with that, I don't know, anything else I want to kind of throw on top of that. Um, I will say, the acting is not bad. Who is it? Annabelle Wallis here. She plays Madison. She does a pretty good job. The acting is solid all around. No major complaints there. Obviously, he knows what he's doing. It's shot well and all so forth. I said, there were some of the transitions and I don't know that I didn't really care for and stuff. Not a big deal there. I just thought, you're trying to make a scary film here, and I guess it was just too happy with the transitions. Whatever, I don't know. But yeah, that's kind of my biggest thought and complaint about this movie, and I guess that kind of makes it a letdown. And like I say, I watched this one with my wife, and I dragged her into it, and I didn't win any points there because she really didn't like it. So I'll be watching some more of her movies now because I'll be punished for this one for a while. Even though I do spare her for some other ones. But I had some hopes for this one, but I guess that didn't go over well. So with that, I don't know. I wanted to had high hopes and wanted to give it a higher score, but it just didn't do enough for me. I'm gonna give it 2.5, somewhere in the middle, just because I liked some of the stuff early on, and that point, the back half of the film just didn't do enough for me, and I guess kind of killed off what I thought they were building in the beginning. So yeah, 2.5 out of 5 pools of blood for this one. I'm excited for James Wan that he is kind of really wanted to dig into one now, and hopefully he'll do some more here soon. We've seen a lot of the movies come out with him as producer, and him being involved or not involved and so forth. You're never really sure when they say from James Wan and blah blah, and he produced it. You never know how much someone like him is really involved with the film, or he just putting some money or time or input into it, but is never really involved. And since he really directed and was part of writing this one, you kind of feel better that he's involved with it, and it's really his movie. Hopefully he can give us something a little bit more next time. So with that, wrap this up. Malignant review here. HorrorSquadReviews.blogspot.com is where you can find more of these movie reviews. Video reviews are there as well. Tons of written reviews. So check them out. Subscribe to the channel if you just want the video reviews. Twitter, Facebook information down below as well. Reach out to me there. We can talk about this movie. Hopefully we can do so in a friendly manner. And I'm not for one to get in a whole bunch of arguments here. Like I said, we can disagree. I'm fine with disagreeing with people on movies. Some people love them, some people hate them. And that's why, we're here to talk about them. And, there's not too many movies out there I love so much that I need to get into huge arguments about and so forth and drive myself crazy. There's enough crazy stuff going on in the world and on Twitter by itself that, to just get into it about a movie is just, whatever. But we can certainly talk about it if you want. In the comment section as well, please leave your comments about this review, this video, about the movie, whatever you want. If you want to reach out to me with something you want me to review, you can do that there, Twitter, and so forth. If you need my email, reach out to me on Twitter or in the comment section. I'd be happy to give it to you. So with that, we're on to the next review, and I'll catch you later, horror fans.